What is going on, my fellow movie nerds and geeks alike?
Hey.
We just got out of Longlegs. I just want to preface this video with, there might be spoilers, so like we always say, if you don't want it ruined, stop here, don't go any further, or if you just don't care, you by all means stick around and listen. Also, I'm gonna leave this video to be kind of more unedited than usual, because this is more of a conversation about the movie Longlegs than it is like a review, because it is really a difficult movie to fully flesh out and explain. Stick it out if you want, if not, I completely understand. So the plot is pretty well fleshed out in the trailer for you. Micah Monroe, who you might remember from the genre in It Follows, Watcher, The Guest, is an FBI agent who has like a psychic sort of intuition about things, and she is tasked by the FBI to help them decipher a 30-plus-year-old serial killer who is still killing families after all this time. They want her to help decipher his letters that he leaves behind at every crime scene after the families are killed, and really just figure out who he is.
They're very Zodiac-esque in terms of their, like, ciphers. They're coded. It's not, like, just written out in the basic English language, but they're always signed off Longlegs.
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of symbols, and, like, it's signed Longlegs at the bottom, and he never leaves any clues behind aside from this letter. There's no fingerprints, there's no nothing. The movie starts out with a little girl running across Nicolas Cage. You
just see the backside of him.
You just see the bottom half of his face, and he's like, ah! And it's like, from that moment on, like, Nicolas Cage is a fucking psycho in this movie. He's not even in it a lot, but anytime he's on screen, just imagine Nicolas Cage in all those other movies. He's played these unhinged characters, like Leaving Las Vegas, or
Mandy.
Or Mandy when he's drinking in the bathroom, like, he does that in this. It's wild.
Imagine him and Mandy, but in, like, granny drag.
Yeah, exactly. I even went as far as thinking, like, he almost looked, the makeup of Nicolas Cage as Longlegs.
He looks like a grandma.
I think he looks like
Sarah Palmer.
No.
The new Twin Peaks.
Leatherface when he has the Pretty Woman mask.
Without the makeup, luckily.
Yeah. But anyway, she's going through the past of all the killings, looking at all the crime scenes, and just wondering what the hell is going on. And this whole time, there's a lot of subliminal messaging in this movie. There is, like, a dark, satanic figure appearing behind Micah Monroe and in, like, the background of a lot of shots. It really leaves you feeling uneasy. It's just weird, man. It's really hard to explain. Like, she's going through, she does figure out who Longlegs is and realizes that she met him when she was a little girl.
That she is directly connected, and now, what do now? How am I connected?
Yeah, like...
Why?
And this whole time, she also has this weird connection to her mother. Her mother's very soft-spoken, almost slow, like heavily medicated.
Played by Alicia Witt of Urban Legend and a few episodes of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
I love her. Big fan.
And slowly but surely, here's where the spoilers start coming in. As it turns out, the opening scene when we see a little girl, Micah Monroe, seeing Longlegs, her mother pleaded with Longlegs to spare Micah Monroe's life.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spare her life, and in order for him to do that, she is now tasked with doing his bidding. And his bidding includes taking this weird doll that looks like the little child of every family, but it's somehow, like, cursed with the satanic curse that Nicolas Cage puts on these dolls, and the doll intuitively almost makes this family and the father of the family kill the rest of the family, and then in turn kill himself in the end as well. He does this all within 6 days of the child's birthday, and every victim's
birthday is on the 14th.
The child of every family, their birthday is on the 14th of a month.
Which I would like to point out that
we saw this on the 14th.
Neither of us is born on the 14th, but we did see it on the 14th.
We just saw this on July 14th, which is super cool, and I love that kind of irony.
We just got lucky.
Hail Satan! But once Micah Monroe, like, realizes what's going on, she drives up there with, like, a fellow FBI agent, and there's her mom in, like, her religious nun garb blowing away her colleague, and shooting this doll that looks like Micah Monroe, and a spirit like comes out of its head, and all of a sudden Micah Monroe almost like kind of
she loses her
wakes
psychic
up.
powers.
Yeah, she just like wakes up.
The doll is tied to that, and I don't have an idea or a theory going further into how it ties to the children.
Yeah,
but it
neither.
does somehow.
I mean, it's Nicolas Cage really has some power of satanic magic that he puts in these dolls.
But it's through that, like, David Lynch and...
Yeah, little spherical
like
ball that goes
as
in the head
brain.
of the doll. Yeah, it's very odd, but it leaves you so uneasy. And the FBI agent who pulled Micah Monroe into this case, throughout the movie, there are subtle hints that, like, his family's going to become one of Longlegs' next victims, because you hear it's his daughter's birthday soon. And
the daughter turns to her and says, "Are you coming to my birthday party?"
And right away, you as a viewer are like, okay, this is definitely going to play out a little weird. And that's, like, the end of the movie is that playing out, like, her mom...
culminating.
Yeah, her mom bringing a doll that looks like her colleague's daughter, and then her colleague flips out, kills the mom, and Micah Monroe has to, like, blow him away. It is weird. Nicolas Cage as Longlegs, when they capture him after Micah Monroe realizes who he is, because she has a photo of him that she took as a child and she just didn't remember. There is a scene in an interrogation room where he is talking to her, and holy shit, he's just, like, quoting insane things at her, and he just ends up making her more confused, but he smashes his face into the countertop, committing suicide. And this is like...
He breaks his nose off.
Yeah, and there's still like 20 minutes left in the movie. Like, there's still shit to figure out. Like, we still didn't figure out her mom had anything to do with it. So you're just like, holy shit, man, what is going on?
Yeah.
Anyway, that is like the loose take on this plot.
Cliff Notes. It's Cliff Notes for Longlegs via Bill.
I just literally tried to explain it, and my brain ended up mixing all the parts together, and that's what this movie feels like.
He was almost completely dead silent on the walk to the car after the movie, the car ride home from the theater.
Yeah.
And then for like 15, 20 minutes on the couch after writing his review on Letterboxd, because he couldn't put his thoughts into words. Which... if you watch us, you know that he is great at articulating these things, and I'm just
Not
like,
with
it was fine.
The way Osgood Perkins put this movie together, like, the tone of the film is super eerie, and it just leaves you feeling unsettled and uneasy. Like, I'm still uneasy about it. I don't know how to feel about it. The lighting is all bizarre and, like, just nothingness, but at the same time makes you feel like, ugh. And then Nicolas Cage's unhinged performance, and the fact that you don't see him a lot, at first anyway, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And, it just left me feeling weird and bizarre. And the ending is so twisty, turny, with when you learn that, like, Micah Monroe's mother is involved and that the satanic magic is essentially real. That's it, man. It just left me feeling weird. Like, there's no crazy gore in it. Like, granted, you do see, like, the dead bodies of the families.
It's very dark and very bleak in that regard.
Like, you see the crime scenes, and then Micah Monroe has visions of one of the killings, which is very grim and gross. But it's not that's scary. It's just how this movie makes you feel. It's so hard for me to articulate. I still can't do it. Osgood Perkins has created a moody atmosphere with beautiful shot composition that meshes with the insane sound design and brooding score by Ziegler to almost lure you into feeling uneasy.
When she first goes to her boss, Blair Underwood's family's house, she meets his daughter, and she's like, "Are you coming to my birthday party?" She's like staring around her room very awkwardly, and I thought she was having a psychic moment.
Yeah.
In seeing what would happen to them.
Like, I don't know. This movie also, just like I said it to Vicky when we left, like, is very, like, weird. It almost feels like autistic in a weird way. Like, if a film could feel autistic, this is it. I mean no offense with this. Believe me. Please don't take offense to it. What I mean is that a lot of the characters, specifically Micah Monroe's Lee Harker, are almost played with what I'd say is like a social awkwardness or neurodivergence. The characters move very slow, but their performances are so good. Micah Monroe is great, Blair Underwood is great, and Nicolas Cage is unhinged, like we've said. what did you think overall? You did love it.
I absolutely loved it. It's up there for contention for my favorite movie of the year.
So the hype didn't kill it for you?
No,
or
it didn't.
Me either.
The marketing, we went early on
enough. The marketing was so good.
We went early on enough that people couldn't spoil it for us.
True.
Granted, we were able to.
But the marketing is so cryptic, just like the film.
Nick Cage in makeup wasn't shown at all in the marketing, which was helpful. So I couldn't stop laughing every time Nick Cage did appear on. I couldn't stop, and it was awkward because the whole theater was essentially dead silent. I was wondering because there were a lot of couples, and I was like, how many women are going to run out of here?
And also,
the makeup is great.
There's a T-Rex, like the band, quote
at the beginning
at the start of the movie, and then you do find out that Micah Monroe's mother has been keeping Longlegs living in the basement this whole time. That's like one of the reveals. And he has a T-Rex poster next to his bed. And then as the credits are about to roll, a T-Rex song plays. I don't fully understand why that was.
It could have just been his Oz Perkins obsession with T-Rex.
Maybe.
It's just I'll read about on IMDb.
It's just another one of those things that I'm like, this is so weird, but it works. It's shot in like a very art house style. Like you could have told me this was an A24 film.
And you would have believed it.
But at the same time, I guess Neon Pictures is kind of like an A24-esque art house film studio. The framing of the shots is so amazing. Like it looks beautiful. The soundtrack is very booming and adds to a lot of scares in the first half of the movie. Like just sudden shocks. And it's great. Like I still can't put my finger on it. Like I asked her what she thought about the movie. I am so unsettled by it that I'm
invigorated.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Apparently, I just needed a really good satanic-driven movie.
Yeah. It just can't be understated that, like, the plot of the movie aside, like, it's simple. It's a satanic story involving the FBI and Nicolas Cage and all this. But it's not the plot that makes it good. It's watching the movie and everything coming together, making you feel
it's kind of weird, ironically what I wanted from Maxine.
And just unsettled, that makes it work. And it's not something you can talk about or write down. You have to experience it to fully understand what I'm saying. And I think that's why I really enjoyed it.
Something that I really like that actually kind of goes against what you were saying before.
Okay.
At the beginning of the movie, you don't get a lot of Nick Cage. I thought I was going to come out of the movie saying I wanted more. And then it kept revving up and we were getting more and more. And I knew at that point that the movie was more than halfway over. Because I was like, if we're getting this much, he's going to die or the movie's going to end first. Whichever. Because you do eventually get a lot of him.
Yeah.
Like Bill said.
A little too much for my taste.
Not for me. I was just laughing.
But the performances were so good that I loved it. I think a lot of the people saying that this is a new age Silence of the Lambs were a little off. Like, yes, it is following a puckish young female FBI agent
looking for a male serial killer.
I guess you could make the argument that it's like an uneasy satanic Silence of the Lambs.
There's some parallels.
It is way more satanic and just trippy. Like, it was tripping me out. Like, how it made me feel. I can't get over it. Like, it wasn't particularly scary. It was just it was like a mind fuck that just like kind of walking out of that movie, I was like, I'm kind of a little tripped up, man.
Yeah, like it was like, if it was like Silence of the Lambs at all, it was like Silence of the Lambs on PCP.
There is a feeling of similarity between Silence of the Lambs, Seven, and even Zodiac. But by the third act of Longlegs, it has completely diverted into a supernatural satanic plot that sets it way apart from those films. I just haven't had a movie literally make me feel this way in a long time. Like, the film itself, shot beautifully, it's very well done, but that aside is, I feel shook up by it.
Bill felt the ick.
Yeah.
I felt
in a
the
good
invigoration of it all.
What would you give it out of 5?
5.
5 out of 5.
Like I said, it's in contention for my favorite of the year.
I will definitely say it's one of my favorite horror movies of the year. Like, without a doubt.
Horror, yes. Horror, it is up there, but favorite movies altogether so far. I'm
going to give it a 4 out of 5 just because, yes, I loved it, and yes, it made me feel gross and icky. Giving a movie a 5 is, like, that's like an all-time favorite movie for me, and this definitely will not be an all-time favorite, but as far as horror in 2024, it is incredible, and it is a must-see.
I have never been a Nick Cage fan, and I can say today I am now.
So good.
Bill has got me to the movies 3 times in the past
Can you
month.
believe it? Sorry for all the review content.
And is this not the most I've spoken?
It is. Anyway, guys, we've gone on for far too long.
We'll let you leave.
Ew, I'm creeped out.
Sorry,
Anyway.
I'm not. Anyway.
We love you guys so much. Thank you once again for always watching our nonsense.
Wait, what does he do?
Oh, yeah.
Hail Satan.
Until the next video, guys, we love you so much. Please remember to like this video. Leave your thoughts on Longlegs down below, even if you hated it. I'm
Comment,
curious.
subscribe, what have
All
you.
the bullshit they all say, and holy crap. Go to the theater and feel uneasy, please. You
Let us
deserve
know.
it. Till the next one, adios.
Hail Satan.